Once again, there is an
chess
$8,000
actively.
bonus.
And okay, this is it. Big jackpot.
The final opening handshake has already taken place. The players are in their seats. The clock will start
it. And there you go.
And there you have it.
I mean, you know, he is true to himself. He believes in his opening.
But this is a different response to that
Yeah,
B3
he was
move.
playing F4 before. And
we also saw symmetry. In game one, it was the initial symmetry of B3, B6, but now that won't be the case this time around.
I love what Vichy has done. I like the move knight C6, inviting the whole bishop B4 complex that we saw previous.
It's kind of like he's going for the same setup, just with
exactly.
black.
Yeah, they repeat it, and F7, F6. I love what he's done. Now, if Gary dares reach for his F pawn to get a similar position, then the move bishop G4. I'm sure this time Vichy is not going to let that opportunity go away. Obviously, he's telegraphing his move. He wants to play D4 and wants what we would call a big center. Pawns abreast, C5, D5, E5. Taking all of the spaces for the pieces. And Gary knows it, and Gary's sitting up and saying, how am I going to combat this different approach from Vichy?
Well, then we look at pawn breaks, right? How do I disrupt that center? I'm thinking we're looking at D4, yeah?
Yeah, D4. That's a move. But when you played the move bishop to B5 a moment ago, he's looking at doubling up the pawns, right? And then when you play the move D4, which I think is a very decent move, by the way, it's a good move, you're undoubling the pawns. You just countered what you just did, which was to, but I like the move D4. I would say C4 also. And look at this. Vichy, you got to play bishop G4. Bishop G4, Vichy, you got to do it. Come on.
Gary is inviting it in this case.
Because there is not a good way of meeting the bishop coming out.
He doesn't go for it.
And knight F2 is an automatic now.
And now you don't have time.
Now you don't have time. You missed it. It was there for just that ever so brief a moment, and he's gone back to what he just did, which is E6, bishop E3, castles, and he eventually got in E5. Remember, we had those doubled pawns. Now, previously, Gary took and played D3 and knight D2 and got himself in a world of hurt. Let's see if he can do something else.
Knight out to C3 here. Quick response from Vichy.
Said, look, if you're not going to double up my pawns,
I'll replace my knight with a bishop.
Happily. So, bishop D7. Clock times, not too surprisingly, Gary's behind.
I was going to say, following the norm, the pattern of this matchup, of this pairing, if you will, well, yes, you'd always take the 437 over the 310 on the other side.
Now, I'm very, very happy as Black here playing the move bishop D6. In the previous game, you noticed that Vichy first played bishop E2 and then bishop D3. I think he should have just spanked it on the D6 square.
Wow,
okay.
F5. I was wondering about starting to send the G-pawn. We were having that discussion earlier. I think it was game 2.
Right.
Maurice was really looking at the G4, G5 ideas, but he says, I'm not going to waste the time.
I don't like this move at all. I really, really don't. So you just played knight takes D5, and you're threatening the fork. Ooh, he castled. How intriguing. You're just threatening the fork. I thought we were going to see queen to B8, attacking the H2 pawn, notice, while defending the pawn on, while defending the pawn, the C7 square. He's played it, but a move later. He's committed himself to castling kingside.
Now, both players have committed their kings as well.
Now, again, I think it's this queen and bishop. I think it's time to neutralize that by just playing bishop to D6, the bishop to E5. Maybe something to be said for knight. I also see a potential post up on the F3 square because that's a weak square. A lot of strategies here for both players, and the most natural move was bishop D6. Vichy just played it.
Right. This is what you were asking for.
And again, 4 minutes for Vichy, less than 3 minutes for Gary, and the clock times have been key.
They've been key. Without a doubt, we've seen games end as a result of time.
What
in
else
this
to
tournament.
say?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, so we've seen the impact that the time can have very clearly at this event.
Yes.
But neither player worse for wear so far in this position. I'm wondering how scared am I about the bishop and the knight sitting on the 5th rank? They do feel like they're kind of choking me out. A little bit. I'm a little uncomfortable with how much space they have.
Normally, you do want to trade the advanced pieces, and in this case, the bishop on b5, the knight on d5.
So I would bring that knight to e7 and try
knight e7 is a good move. Either knight to e7, but I don't think it's one of those positions where you really need to panic. Like those pieces are not coordinating an attack, and ooh. Move d4. Okay, that changes a lot. I was about to say I would prefer to play the move knight e5 and look for my own counter chance. Gary said, let me just cut that out. That's
cut you off at the pass.
Yeah, before you could even think about making attack. But the problem with the move is it's left the e3 pawn on an open file, a little bit vulnerable. Good move by Vichy. And now it's time to get rid of this defender.
Right.
I'm thinking knight on g6 to e7, or even potentially knight on c6 to e7 to force the trades of those advanced pieces.
Right.
Knight b4, similar idea, just a different approach by Vichy.
Going forward to
trades,
achieve the same thing.
Forcing trades. And Gary said, okay, let me trade that one.
Bishops first.
But again, that rook is eyeballing that backward pawn on e3.
Right. Only protected by the knight currently.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so pawn trade. Got to
we're
capture back with the bishop, of course.
We're anticipating bishop takes. There's something, the black king could be pulled out of its lair. Bishop takes c5, knight take, so bishop takes c5, knight takes b4.
Yeah.
You probably
got to
have to
take
play
with check
on check.
Right.
Rook takes, and then the bishop takes on b4. Lots of trades. I don't know who's better off at the end of that. That's a judgment call.
Might be too involved a question for a 5-minute
Please.
game. But what is your approach to evaluating the order of operations of a trade? When you have all these different opportunities for which piece can take which piece in move order, essentially, is it just a pick one and start working down that line of logic, and then pick another one, work down that line of logic until you find the one that feels the best to you? Or do you have a different system by which to evaluate the
Absolutely.
trades?
I do have a different system, and in my mind, I'm looking at the most forcing sequence where I'm capturing the most. Like, I'm capturing your queen first, I'm capturing your rook first, or your rook second, and knight, and so on. And by the way, the players have gone an absolutely, totally different way. And I hate what Vichy has done, because that rook that was sitting on g1, well, it wasn't actually the rook on g1 that was sitting there, is now sitting on g7. And I'm looking at c6, and I'm thinking in my mind's eye, this king is much more vulnerable than this one. So I'm looking at the move c7, c6.
Rook's on the 2nd and the 7th, right?
Yeah, and I'm going, and also, by the way, I do have a way of bringing my queen into the game with bishop takes f6 and queen to c3, and I like the looks of this for white.
We have
for
two pawns hanging in the situation.
Yeah, so bishop takes f6, bishop takes c5, queen c3 is one good method for white to continue. c7, c6 looks very, very attractive, because with the rook on b7 eyeballing c6 takes b7, I would be winning with a checkmate.
Kind of spoiled for options. Okay, he's going to drop the knight back. Bishop c1 was actually
that was a nice move too, because
really big move.
Queen takes f. Vichy is really playing with fire now. I don't like this. I don't like this at all, what Vichy has done. He's played queen takes h2.
I'm going to abuse the engine on this one. Question mark given to the a4 push.
What was this?
There's an option here for Vichy.
He could trade queens with queen check and queen... because he does, after all, have a passed pawn himself. I I think Gary made the move knight d3 was definitely wrong. I think Gary missed an opportunity.
Two options.
Knight f4.
Knight f4. Engine wanted knight e5 instead.
Knight f4. And Vichy is looking at his opportunity.
Okay, now we trade of knights.
And by the way, we've got a threat of rook to e1, which means you have to give up the c2 pawn. And, well, there is rook here. Queen.
Wow.
Give me checkmate. Don't allow checkmate.
All right, so the queen will drop back to block. Looks for
But
trade,
look at this.
Now we snap off the other h-pawn, and now we're doubled on the 7th rank.
But we don't have c6 as the threat. Oh, we do have c6 as a threat, because queen takes f5 in case of queen takes c6. That is a great move by Vichy. Bishop e5. I love that move. I'm dreaming to play the move c6, though. I really, really want to play that move c6.
Well, you're dreaming for it. Gary's got 23 seconds, perhaps, to find it. So
Where does the time go?
Where does the time go? Now down to 15 seconds on the clock. He's just going to look for the rook to slide over.
No, that's
the bar
a terrible,
goes completely in the opposite direction.
Terrible
Double question mark
move.
given to the move. We will have the rooks come off the board, but it's a winning position here for Vichy.
Oh, that was a terrible move by Gary. He didn't have to play that. I think we just play queen to c2 and say, give me the bishop. That's a checkmate. Vichy could win both jackpots and walk home with an extra 16,000 in his pocket.
We talked about what maybe the freedom of the overall match being over and what it might do for a player like Vichy, but he doesn't find it a blunder to follow the blunder. And we're back to zeros. 12 seconds on the clock, though, here for Gary.
Is there a perpetual?
He's going to look for it.
If the queen were on c2, the king could come right up the board and very happily...
The king's on the run.
King's
on the run.
You can't play king d5. Queen takes b7 is...
Queen c6. Queen...
I think this is a draw.
We're back into a draw situation. He had the opportunity to block with queen coming back to c6 there for a moment.
Did he? I apologize. I didn't see that. That was even viable. Okay.
Well, because then you would look to trade off the queens. Maybe an option again there was queen c6. Queen c6.
No, he had to play queen e7 check. What is he doing? Okay, now
so
we're in a queen ending.
He found the queen c6.
But it's an
move,
extra pawn.
It is the extra pawn. That's the thing. It's a pass pawn as well. A lot of question marks coming out with it. These are not easy moves to find or make with very little time on the clock.
No time on the clock. And we have queen c8 check. Gary originally played the move, took it back, thought the better of it, and then said, okay. So he is going to have to take on e5. He didn't do. Whoa, what happened? He lost on time.
Oh, no.
He lost on time.
Wow. I mean, it was a tough position, to say the least. You're staring at the pass pawn. You feel like you have to keep the aggression up, keep your opponent on the back foot, because you give him that one moment to breathe, and the pawn will start making its way down the board.
Trauma at the very end of the match.
And in the scramble, it is a time loss. Shoes on the other foot this time around. Well, Vichy loses on time on day one. On day three, he'll grab another $8,000 in our jackpot blitz match.
What a finish to a wonderful match.
On day two, you play but this is
Wow.
Wow.
Let's see if we can listen to what Gary is talking about in this game.
97, the Wells game, 97. Of course. No, you're simply better, I thought.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, the blunder was
it's decent.
Yeah, I think the missing that
but I had to play F4. If you play
F4
F4,
winning. Gary had a
like
win.
Like my 4 years yesterday, I was making rook F2 response. Could I just say, rook G8, I don't know, this rook G8. But actually, the game you won today, this is very interesting. Did you see some good idea for me? Because I played knight b4, yes. You castle d4, knight e2, yes. e5 takes. I thought bishop f5, but then knight g2.
It's always knight g2. Knight c2, queen b1. Yes, that's always cool.
And the problem is I'm not equal, it's lost.
No.
But then d3, rook d1, knight d1.
Yeah, it's very good. Bishop E7.
Queen Eve.
Queen B1.
Queen B1, like, you couldn't say anything. No?
Yeah, but this is because
Bishop F5, knight G3, knight A2, Queen B4.
Yeah, but it's so
No, Queen B4. This is not possible. But I think you will just play King D. No, instead of knight G3, you should find something else. I don't know what. Maybe knight EC3 or something is also possible.
Yes?
Yeah.
Oh, what a hunger for chess these two have in their bellies, that after
It's a
3
passion.
days and 12 games, they're not talking just about this one. They're talking about previous games as well.
Oh, yes. Lots to analyze.
And drink it in, folks. It's very rare you get to sit courtside to two of the best who have ever do it and get to listen to them talk it through.
By the way, for me, this was one of the great joys of chess, is after the game comparing notes, if you will. I didn't want to play this because I was afraid of that, and I didn't want you to get this. And chess was a mystery, and we weren't sure that we were right. We went back and we analyzed. Today, you rush to your hotel, you turn on your chess engine, and it goes blunder, 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 and you feel like an idiot.
Right.
But
the computer doesn't give you the logic behind it. It still
No.
can't, not yet. They can't yet give you the thought, and I think that's the
Right.
beauty of these human discussions, right? And to your point, you
Absolutely.
get to say, I didn't want to do this because.
I was
Ooh,
afraid.
And I was afraid of this.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that they're going to be shocked when they do go back to their hotel and they do discover that the position that I have on my board was a winning moment for Gary that just kind of slipped by in the time trouble. And then it was Anand, Vichy, who won the game eventually in a bit of a time scramble that Gary lost on time.
An advantage position as well there. So maybe with more time, Vichy still finds his way to victory.
James, I find it intriguing that Vichy played his best games when the match was over. Like there was no pressure on him anymore. He could just play freely. The match had been lost, and then he just played how he likes to play with elan and grace, and it went beautifully at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Vichy that we talked about wanting to see.
Yeah.
And you go back to, I believe, a point he had made at a dinner preceding the event where hadn't touched this format
In a while.
in near 20 years.
That's what he said.
And I wonder how much, again, of the pressure in the moment and the uncomfortability of the format together was a little bit insurmountable.
Yeah.
Then you remove the pressure of the format and you let the man just play chess.
I bet you they were going to replay that moment that I'm talking about where it was this bishop c1 move. Where, okay, they're going even
a little
back
further back, yeah.
Because we didn't see how those trades ended up with the bishop on g1.
This is
Takes. Yeah, this is what, and we took on d7, and Vichy took the rook on g1.
Right, and that's how we ultimately rerouted the white rook all the way to the seventh rank.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I don't know. C6, BC6. Wait, C6, BC6, rook D7, and then knight C6. And what am I going? Queen A8 or what? Or Queen H2? Or what am I
But they
doing?
haven't reached the position
Queen B6.
that I have on my board with the.
So then this is waiting.
Yes.
Because now the B pawn is no longer on the board.
Yeah.
Position was too good here to be true. So okay.
And
Position was too good here to be true.
Before, oh no, I played knight before
I think chess players have some of the best language.
Yeah, they do. I remember analyzing with Lev Polygaevsky, and his English was very poor. And I would show him a variation, and he would say, you are true. You are true.
Yeah.
And we have Rex Singfield and Maurice Ashley trying to congratulate the players, but they are so locked into their analysis. Maurice is helpless.
is a beautiful man, so is Rex, but the game of chess right now has captured these two.
Center stage. And there is our benefactor of the chess club, Rex. Singfield congratulating both legends.
This is a tournament of firsts following the renovation of the St.
Exactly.
Louis Chess Club. We had the first decisive victory going to Garry Kasparov, now the first champion in Garry Kasparov, the first handshake given from Rex.
We're going to make it downstairs so we can do the final interview.
They're still analyzing.
They don't want to leave the board. Maurice is saying, we got some questions to ask, but we don't want to leave the board. There's more for us to get into.
People joining us late, final scores?
Final score line. Let's take a look at it, because they entered the match